Today, I would like to talk about euthanasia, which should not be legalized since there are more cons than the pros. Euthanasia is referred as assisted suicide, which is used to terminate the patient's life when the patient is suffering from incurable disease or in an irreversible coma. It's usually conducted by doctor administering a lethal drug directly. We can easily find documentaries such as The Suicide Tourist online, the recording stories of brave men who choose euthanasia at the end of their lives. I can resonate their feelings and respect their choices. Euthanasia is needed for some patients who no longer want to suffer from the endless torture and eager to get relieved as soon as possible. According to the anatomy arguments, the patron of dignity in dying, Patrick Stewart said, "We have no control over how we arrive this world, but at the end of life, we should have control over how we live it." He had really good heart to help the community in need for sure. However, this idea becomes much more complex when it comes to implementation. It's not only difficult to define the criteria for conducting euthanasia, but also hard to guarantee that the patient made his choice voluntarily. First of all, personal will is always emphasized under this topic. However, the patient's voluntariness is usually determined by other factors that the patients cannot control. What the law protects is never the right to choose for the powerful community, but the right not to choose for the weak. Sometimes the true reason for patients to choose euthanasia is not to become a burden. Medical bills could drain a family's savings easily, but still could not save the patients from death. Everything the money spent could bring is some little hope with no guarantee. It's not worthy to buy this chance for families in financial difficulties already. However, they just cannot give up their family members emotionally. To prevent this tragedy from happening, patients is forced to voluntarily give up his life under great mental pressure. It's really ironic. At this time, the right to die become the responsibility to die. Think about it. It's horrible. Since the terminal patient still, if a terminal patient still wants the treatment, regardless of his family's financial status, he may be deemed to be selfish and could receive tons of contempt from the public. Did he do anything wrong? No, he just wants to live. Moreover, a survey published by the British Medical Journal in 2011 found that not all people who have incurable disease would like to receive assisted suicide. Majority of the 169 patients of the French Association for Locking Syndrome who are almost completely paralyzed but still fully consciously would like to continue enjoying their lives. Secondly, it's extremely difficult to define the criteria satisfying the euthanasia. It's hard to know if a patient reaches his last stage of life. We all have seen miracles of terminal cancers get recovered with constant treatments, or it's totally possible for patients to live with the tumor under control for 10 or more years. Miracles are totally unpredictable, but we can never deny its possibility. For instance, the doctor once claimed that Michael Schumacher has few chances to wake up from the vegetable status, but his wife never gave him up no matter what happened, and finally had Michael back after years of efforts. If euthanasia was executed, we would have lost the king of F1 forever. And on the other hand, the doctor may determine the patients could be saved with timely treatment. Yet, these patients refuse to cooperate with the doctor, which made him reach the threshold of euthanasia deliberately. At this time, should the doctor execute the euthanasia for him to facilitate his suicide? That's a problem. Or just think about emotionally. The original intention of euthanasia is to end the patient's life comfortably and help their family out of the plight. However, a long eligibility review process is inevitable, and it's hard to imagine how the patient and his family will be tortured in this period of time. Are you willing to count down the life of yourself or the loved one? That would be too crucial for me. The idealism today that only concerned about the concept, not the reality, will finally lead to the chaos of society in the future.